talk a little bit easier here and take a look at our data. And let's go back in here. It looks like that reconnected. Let's click T here. Let's actually go in before we do anything else. Let's just touch up the table based on that last pull. We'll look at the torque overlay in just a second here, the comparison in a little bit. Let's go through the data. Before I go make the changes, let's make sure that the variable cam control is going and tracking the desired target that we programmed here. So I'm going to go into F6 and look at what's going on here. So we can see we start off the target here at roughly 12 degrees, we ramp it to 30, and then we ramp it back down here to 0. And the target is doing exactly what we programmed. There is some small oversteps here and there, but by and large, this is tracking fairly well. I'm not going to change any. Even on the factory ECU, you're going to find fluctuations like that. Let's look at our knock control real quick under knock tuning and just take a look at this. Again, that's with all the cylinders kind of evened out, and that looks good. So the knock threshold is a little bit above the actual amplitude output, and all the cylinders 2 and 3 are detuned a bit, so they're all falling more in line with each other, more even with all the cylinder amplitude output. That's excellent. That allows us to dial the spark timing in then next. Let's go to fuel tuning and let's go ahead and just update the table. So we're just going to use that quick tune function now that the variable cam control has been optimized to touch up the VE table with the new variable cam control blend. So we're going to click Q in the places in our table that we need to update and just allow it to kind of traverse across here. And we do see the VE values are higher, which makes sense because we have better cylinder filling with our variable cam blend. So we're finding as we dial things in here, there's some changes. Let's go ahead and keep going here. Nothing complicated with this, just trying to center ourselves into the actual cell points as we're making these adjustments. Looks like some of the cell points are fairly close, and the closed loop correction is probably pretty much spot on in those areas. Okay, so we updated that area right here. What I'm going to do is just, let's store the change real quick and give that a second. And we're going to just take the black points away, unmark these values, so that we can take this and then copy it into our upper rows. Again, trying to make these the same. Looks like the same problem I had last time. It's really strange why it does that. Okay. Control H, let's make all those the same. Even paste that to the 90. So we have our VE table dialed in here pretty much on point for low cam. Let's just do a blend down from 90 to 70. So the table here has been sorted out. One thing I am noticing here is that at 7,000, going higher, our VE values are higher here, 7 to 9,000. We haven't even touched those values. I'm going to copy my 7,000 to 9,000 and then just interpolate here. We're going to have to figure out our high engine RPM VE table values when we engage VTEC in the next tutorial. Okay, so variable cam's tracking, the knock threshold table set up so we can trust the knock control, the V table set up. So now all we can focus on is, or we're able to focus on now, is spark timing tuning. I'm going to jump into the ignition table and I'm going to start to add timing in here. I'm going to go from 2,500 up to 9,000 from, let's just say, 90 kPa and higher here. And I'm going to go ahead and do shift and then let's do shift asterisk and actually just do a plus. So we're going to do plus. I'm going to add in here and I'm going to do a big jump right now. Let's add 6 more degrees of timing. I know I should be closer to something like 20 to maybe 24 degrees of timing on low cam with this engine at the higher engine speeds. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a big jump in timing and we're going to see what happens with the horsepower and torque output. We're obviously have to look at our dynograph here to see that last pull, but when we add the timing in, what the difference is going to be and see how the engine responds. Now what I am going to do here is go from 90 to something like 60 here, and we're going to do a blend. Let's do Control H, just blend that downwards. And even here from 60 to 50, we might even do Control H, just blend that. So I also am going to go here from 25 to 1500 and do H, just bump the timing value up a little bit at 2000. Don't want to go too crazy with adding timing at the low engine speeds because we know it's knock sensitive there. I definitely have knock output. Let's see what's going to happen here with 18 degrees of timing with the variable cam blend and our VE table touched up. But we do need to take a look at our graph here. So let's just look at the results from the last pool. So looking back at our dyno graph, 161 horsepower, 151 torque. That's almost the best of both worlds there. So let's go and look at this real quick. I'm going to save this run, and we're going to call this baseline VTC blend, so we can get an idea what this looks like. And then we're going to go here and look at the analyze function again. Let's flip over to our analyze screen. And what we're going to do is overlay this from our 0 to the last pool here. So it's the red and the purple color lines. And we should find here, if everything is right, that we've gained all throughout. We're beating our 0 degree, and we're matching it on the top end. So the pink line is our pool here with our blend, and it looks like the red line is slightly beating it on the top end, right about 55. Now let's look at that. We should find here, we might have to tweak the VE or the VVT, maybe about 5,600. It looks like the red line's beating it. We might actually have to start to zero out that VTC at 5,500. Let's go and zero this out right here. Looks like that might be more optimized, and then we'll blend it here from 45 to 55. It looks like the VTC, it didn't like the VTC on the top end. We should be at least matching on the top high RPM what we did in terms of engine performance with the 0 degree. And obviously if it's losing, then we need to put it back to 0 degree here. So this looks good for the variable cam. Hopefully that's going to track better, and we added our timing in. So we'll get an idea what that timing chain is going to do for us, and seeing if we get knock. So let's actually flip back in here, and let's go back to our run screen, and let's go here to begin, and let's try this now with that additional timing. So we made a big jump from real conservative timing, 12 degrees to 18 degrees. We'll probably jump it again in maybe a 2 to 3 degree increment. I'll take a big jump at first, and then I move in smaller increments, because we'll find as we add our timing, and the engine's going to be more knock sensitive, and we could run into knock, and I don't want to just throw 10 degrees at it right off the bat and kick it into the knock sensor. I want to slowly see the increases and figure out where that threshold is going to be, where it's going to go from no knock, nice smooth knock sensor output, to actually seeing an amplitude output out of the knock sensor, signifying that we have a knock event. I want to know within a 1 to 2 degree range. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.